wickedness. I see them just like a big wrong target, something I could never miss. This say with me new brand and so cargo, educate the public, the fight against red hot. Again, I keep them red hot. Problem, the fight against red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot. Again, when it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man and doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls, I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet your life it is. I always ignite it, watch out, we get red hot. Again, I keep them red hot. Problem, the fight against red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot. Again, well, I am a talented singer with a unique style of my own. Not no one to be entertainer who posing around with phone. There's something about my music what does keep the people interest. You know what they call it, food for thought, so take it in and digest. Some people they think they cheat, they connive and yet still play, they honest. Don't have no feeling for the truth, that is why they cannot keep a promise. Whether Anglican, whether 7 days, even Methodist, all of them fall short of the glory, that is why they can't get no spiritual busy fight against red hot. Again, I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fight against red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot. Again, when it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls, I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet your life it is. I always ignite it, watch out, we get red hot. Again, I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot. Again, because I love up the culture, I put in my best foot forward. But I find the people in authority really acting absurd. For me, it's too much of ignorance and controlling society. And if I know that I don't sing it, then you're going to vex with me. Well, I don't think it's fair to say that I have no competition. But my people, you're going to see for yourself who is the number one. The only way they could beat me, they think have to be programmed. Otherwise, there is just no way to stop a revolution if I get red hot.
It is a cold evening in Grenada, Carriacou, and PD Martinique.
Watch out, we get red hot. Coming back to
But guess what? And guess who's here?
red hot. Again, when it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick.
This is yours truly, Royalty James.
Yes, I am rough like a lion.
We are having that kind of evening.
The fire bet your life it is. I would ignite it. Watch out, we get red hot.
I wouldn't stop blazing the fire, and today you have more fire to come.
Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot.
Welcome to the persons that are on my YouTube page already.
It's strictly to educate.
Errol Bonaparte, thank you so very much for the compliments, brother. Have yourself a wonderful evening.
Hard, so I have to concentrate. Although my road is a rocky one, but to me they cannot dictate.
Kimi Clark, that is already on the Facebook page. Good afternoon to you, my love.
They tell me that I must pay me due. Tell them not to articulate. Tell them singers and them for me, they must get their mind in shape. Because the kind of lyrics are you.
We are having that kind of evening.
That's why they get red.
We are going to have this kind of conversations.
I keep them red.
This is the classroom with Royalty James, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have a wonderful evening.
Again, when it's time,
So go ahead right now.
tell me, come on.
Tag a friend.
Because they know that I'm a serious man.
Share the live.
Yes, I am
Let them know that Royalty James is on.
romantic. When it's time to light the fire.
And let them know today I'm blazing some fire from the way outside.
Again, I keep them red.
Let's get ready for this evening's interaction.
Fire get red.
Remember today's interaction evening, right?
So we get red.
Don't be scared to send your voice notes today.
It was never mine.
Don't be scared to send your voice notes today
A lot of people
on 5365843.
not because I'm
Remember, you'd be listened first, right?
famous. The only
We don't want anything to be derogative,
because I gorilla.
nothing obscene, nothing insultive, sorry, nothing threatening, nothing to defamate anyone's character.
More fire.
So we are going to take some today.
Happen to codes.
So get your voice notes ready
Serious man and me that
as we get interactive this afternoon.
again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem. The fight I get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch how we get red hot. Again. When it's time to burn the fire, they say, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man. I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet to light the fire. I use a ignite it. Watch how we get red hot. Again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem. The fire
conversations, I apologize for that. I'm certain that you all didn't hear the last set of words that I said. But however, I'm just simply saying that we're going to have a wonderful evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are here. We are ready to get interactive. We are ready to continue what is considered to be the year in review. And so we're going to kick it off by saying again a pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. We want to remind persons to be conscientious of the fact that COVID-19 still plagues our wonderful little islands, and so we're asking persons to be extra careful as we do our day-to-day run-ins. All right, so we want you also, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start today by extending this. I am just about, I think it's just about 12 to 13 persons away from my Facebook page in which I would reach my threshold of 1,000. I want to say a heartfelt thank you to the persons that are following me. It only means that I'm saying something right. I'm doing something right. Something is intriguing persons. And so I want to encourage persons to continue to subscribe to my Facebook page, my YouTube page. Go over there because sometimes, Facebook, sometimes, we have problems. So go also to onto my YouTube page, and also subscribe to the persons that are on here on my Facebook page. I want to say thank you so much for liking and following the page. A pleasant good afternoon to each and every one of you. It would be that kind of evening where we get interactive. As I aforementioned, I want persons to don't be scared. Persons would have mentioned that they're not hearing me. Are you hearing me now? I don't know. I'm not getting my feeds to come up as fast as I expect them to. So don't mind if from time to time all right, so now you're hearing me. So I'm getting the information now that you're hearing me. So once you're hearing me and we are ready to go, then let's kick it off. All right. So again, I want to tell persons to also be mindful of the tropical storm that is around us. All right, we would have had some information sometime during the day that speaks to a tropical wave also. So we are going to have thunder showers and so on later on in the evening. So I want to ensure that everybody make sure that you're safe, make sure that your family is safe, and so we are going to keep it like that. That safety, we want to ensure that we keep that level of safety. And we, as friends and family, we want to keep everybody in a position. Somebody saying to me that anywhere I go, they're there. Facebook, YouTube, anywhere, they're going to find me. All right. So I don't want to be distracted much today. All right. So don't forget, as I said, we have a tropical depression that is outside. So we're asking persons to be very, very cautious. But I want to start today with a clip. I want to first play this clip, and when I play the clip, I think persons are going to understand where we'll be going with our conversations today. All right. So let me start by I would not play it in its entirety, but just to listen to this clip very briefly, very, very briefly.
Extended sit-down for the full hour with Grenada's Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell. Sounds a little bit different than when you were talking about it on the campaign.
No, we said 500 Grenadian-style homes. We didn't say the government will build 500 Grenadian-style homes.
When you were talking about it on the campaign.
No, we said 500 Grenadian-style homes. We didn't say the government will build 500 Grenadian-style homes.
When you were talking about it on the campaign.
No, we said 500 Grenadian-style homes. We didn't say the government will build 500 Grenadian-style homes.
All right, let's leave this one right there. We're going to leave this one right there. No, we are going to proceed a little further into the conversation. Listen to this.
35 years, there has been no systematic attempt, even after the passage of Hurricane Ivan, to address the housing needs of our citizens by any government that has governed Grenada since 1985. So to a large extent, short of receiving housing from China, our government itself has not made any meaningful attempt to even study or identify the housing needs of our people and then to take measures to address them. And so specific to our young persons, The National Democratic Congress intends to roll out a national housing program, but we want to make it clear that we would, while in office, build at least through private-public partnership 500 houses. But we want to make it clear that we would, while in office, build at least through private-public partnership 500 houses. But we want to make it clear that we would, while in office, build at least through private-public.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have clip number one that is going to, and I want to ensure, ladies and gentlemen, that when I come with conversations, I don't want to attack anybody per se. I want to keep person's mind intrigued to the information that I have. So I'm not speaking based on any dislike, right? I am not speaking on any dislike here. I'm not speaking because I don't like the individual. No, you're mentioning that you're saying to the Grenadian people just a few weeks ago, just last week or so, on the program, that you didn't mention that the government will be building those houses. Now, if you're mentioning that you all were saying that you all are not that government in itself are not going to build those houses, when you are in office or when a party forms, when a party forms wins an election, what do they form? Maybe I should put it like that. When a party wins an election, what do they form? They form a government. So how can you therefore say, after making that statement boldly, and let me play it again for you,
the needs of our people, and then to take measures to address them. And so specific to our young persons, the National Democratic Congress intends to roll out a national housing program, but we want to make it clear that we would, while in office, build...
While in office. While in office. So if your party forms the government, which you did, party forms government. If party forms government, how can you therefore then turn to the Grenadian people and make a statement like this? How can you make a statement like this?
Grenada's Prime Minister, Dickon Mitchell.
We said 500 Grenadian-style homes. We didn't say the government will build 500 Grenadian.
So if your party forms the government and the promise that you made publicly, you made a promise publicly to the Grenadian people that if your party forms the next government, this is what you intend to roll out while in office. You understand me? Now, at the end of the day, you mentioned other partnerships, but government being a critical entity, because you said while in office, the government will. And listen to it again, because I don't want persons to say, is me that say.
Government itself has not made any or identified housing needs to address them. To our young persons.
Right.
The National Democratic Congress intends to roll out a national housing program, but we want to make it clear that we would, while in office.
We would, while in office. We would, while in office. Now, if you would do something while in office, meaning you are the government, now you're saying to the Grenadian people that your administration never mentioned that the government will. You're now saying to the Grenadian people in an interview, here's what you're saying now.
Dickon Mitchell. Sounds a little bit different than when you were talking about it on the campaign.
No, we said 500 Grenadian-style homes. We didn't say the government will build 500 Grenadian.
But you said it would happen while you're in office. So if you are in office, it means, dear Prime Minister, that you would have formed the government. And so government is who will be building those houses. Yes, you spoke about partnering, but you can't say the government, you won't say the government would build. You ensure that you said while in office. Prime Minister Mitchell, you said while in office. While in office. So if you are saying to the Grenadian people, you're going to do something while you're in office, it means that government, even if you mention all other entities, you're saying to the Grenadian people, no, the government didn't say they're going to build 500 houses. You said so, but you mentioned that you would be doing it in partnership with. So you can't come back to the Grenadian people and mention that you did not say that. It has been there. It is the clip is there. Brother Prime Minister, it is there. And so one mentioned to me, he said to me in recent, well, last night, well, I shouldn't say in recent, I should say a few hours ago, he mentioned to me that the Prime Minister and them never said that they would have made persons prominent. He said that to me. He said, the Prime Minister, I cannot prove to him that the government would have mentioned that they was going to make persons prominent within a year. Brother, you choose to deal with the wrong person here.
The Congress commits to regularizing the status of contract workers who are working for the government and Imani workers who are working for the government within 12 months of assuming
12 months of assuming office.
At my very the Congress commits to regularizing the status of contract workers who are working for the government and Imani workers who are working for the government within 12 months of assuming office.
No, this is not my words. Those are not my words. Those wasn't words that Prince uttered. You're mentioning to me that the Prime Minister never said that he would regularize and take out people on contract within a year. He mentioned it. He mentioned it. And here I can bring to you the clip. I can send to you the clip. When I sent it to him today, he sent me back with an he sent it back with an LOL. Laugh out loud. Because I said to them, when I come to speak on this thing, I don't come here to propaganda. I don't come here to antagonize and run down anybody. No, that is not my job. My job is to give you information and give you factual information. And so when I'm giving you information, I'm not giving you information based on feelings. I'm not giving you information based on, oh, I don't like NDC. No. I am giving you information based on what is there. And I'm going for another clip again. Going for another one. Hold on. Take your time. There is more. There is more. I want to ensure that when I'm giving you guys, I'm giving you all factually. Now, yesterday, I said to you guys that the Prime Minister, in a nutshell, made certain proclamations as it relates to the Royal Grenada Police Force and the conversation of being able to have a certain recurring, when persons leave and be able to nurture the police force. Listen to these words, not mine.
The RGPF needs significant work. Again, it's one of those institutions where I think disappointingly when we came in, we recognize that to some extent it's been gutted, and I use the word deliberately, because the retirement of the commissioner also comes with the retirement of a number of other senior officers. And so, for example, even Commissioner Don McKenzie, who is replacing him, is due to retire in January. Right? And so we had to, in fact, ask Commissioner McKenzie to stay on.
So, Mr. McKenzie is due to retirement in January. They would have asked him to stay on. Let me take timer. Listen this.
We've had to recall retiring officer Jesmond Prince. We've had to recall retiring officer Charles.
So they had to recall Mr. Prince and Mr. Charles.
Right, and the reason for that is
listen to the hypocrisy.
No planning. And regrettably, many years ago, I think the RGPF also had a less than wise recruitment policy, where everybody was recruited around the same age. So everybody retires at the same age. And if you have no succession It's amazing how simple things that we overlook could have significant consequences.
Right.
So you may almost call them the golden class of the post-American intervention period. So all of these excellent officers more or less came in around 1984-85, and it's 40 years.
They all go at the same time.
And they all go at the same time. And worse yet, in the meantime, there was no succession plan to begin to identify.
So there was no succession plan. This is what the gentleman is saying. In a nutshell, he's saying he called those persons back because he believed to himself that the RGPF had no succession plan, meaning that they were not persons placed in position to take up the role thereafter those persons he mentioned would have retired. That is a lie. That is a blatant lie. Because we had ACP, Acting Commissioner of Police, Mr. Pierre, who's a very young officer, who was in the position, basically being nurtured to hold the position as Deputy or Commissioner of Police. But what you did, you demoted him. This is what you did. So how can you say there was no succession plan when somebody like ACP Pierre, who's very young and vibrant, and a lot of other young officers, at least 7 officers in whom you demoted them, and you're saying now that there is not a succession plan? They were young officers, very young officers, mere age, close ages, and then you turn into the Grenadian people and say the police force had no succession plan. ACPP have about 10 to 12 years, I'm not too certain as to his age, to still give to the RGPF. We have other persons like Mr. George and others in whom you demoted, who are in possession to be successors to the position that is ahead of them. So at the end of the day, how can you say that there was not a succession plan when there were officers filled in this position? Filled in this position to get the positions. ACPPA held the position as Acting Commissioner of Police. His only way was upward mobility to either Deputy or Commissioner of Police. You demoted him. Take somebody now and you're paying them because they're supposed to go home in January. You're keeping them on a contract. Take 2 persons from home who's on retirement and you're saying to the people that there is no succession plan. What is a successor? Who is a successor? So you're basically telling people a lie. Because the persons whom you demoted, some have 7, 8, 10 years to give service to state still. Those persons still have time within the RGPF to give to the RGPF. So how can you say that there isn't a succession plan when there were young officers, Acting Commissioner of Police, who in the position with youthful development and growth and training to hold the position as Deputy and Commissioner? You demoted them. And then you're saying to the Grenadian people in an interview that the RGPF had no succession plan. That is a lie. Because if you follow the trend of what succession is, then you would be able to understand what is successors. They were a person waiting for the rank. Simply waiting. Because an individual that has 10 years in service to give still, you demote him and you take 2 persons from home, 3 persons basically that are home, and you're saying to the Grenadian people now, oh, the RGPF had no succession plan. You just promoted 2 ACPs, young officers also, who may still have 5, 6 years to give. So how you can say to the people that there is not a succession plan? Over 7 officers demoted. Some acting in the capacity. acting in the capacity thereof. Some persons in charge of divisions. So how can you say to me that there is not a succession plan when in front of you people are persons whom you demoted? You demoted them. So you can come and contradict and be hypocrite about what you're speaking about. You mentioned that the Royal Grenada Police Force was basically on the trend of what? Hiring persons of the same age. That is a lie. The persons post 1983 that are still officers, half of them may be home already. Half of them could be home already. So don't come and give the Grenadian people this kind of concept as if you believe the persons that are at the helm of the RGPF are just ready to go home. No, that's not true. And if they have to go home, they should be easily going home because we have successors. You're on the conversation of succeeding. So if I have to succeed you, I have to be your successor, it only means that I must be training under you. And with Mr. Pierre having the position as ACP, what else could you have asked for? What else could you have asked for? I see many of you all answering doing arts. Don't worry. This is a political toddler. He has very little understanding as it relates to understanding politics. He's just color-minded and he doesn't see the bigger picture. But he's a toddler in politics. So try not to entertain him too much. All right? So we're going to move on because we had conversations to continue from yesterday. So remember yesterday, we ended on point number 33. And I told you all I have some points that I did not address yesterday. Right? So we're moving on to point number 34 in the accomplishment of the year in governance. Don't forget point number 4. Let's move on to point number 34. Fully refurbish the PM's office in the ministerial complex and ensure that he rented the luxurious house for his dwelling while the state-provided house remains empty. This happened within 1 year. The Prime Minister to date, after 1 year, whom maybe in his opinion thought that the living condition at the state residence was not sufficient for him. And so we understand that everybody can't live in the same condition as others. But the state provided or provides any Prime Minister with a house. And so that residence presently is empty while our Prime Minister is at somewhere at the south of the island living luxuriously on our pensions money and taxation money. I have to say pension money because there are persons who have to get paid and they don't get paid yet too. You understand me? He dictated the bi-monthly payment. We're moving on. The bi-monthly payment was basically shoved down the throats of our public servants. No form of negotiation and conversation. He did what he felt like doing because he wanted to accomplish one of his campaign tactics and tricks. So we're moving on again. He dictated the data protection without consultation. Remember the conversation as it relates to the data collection bill and how much he wanted to push it. And so he pushed and he pushed and he pushed. And so with the majority in office, what do we expect? What will we expect? Remember too, the blocking of the motion proposed by the Labour Senator for the government to provide pension in its current form to all. Remember when that motion was moved in the Senate, by Andre Lewis, and how much he was shot down. You understand me? Don't forget that. Advocating pension reform after promising to pay the pension even if it means borrowing to do so. Remember when they shot down the idea from Dr. Mitchell and say pension reform what? Pension reform don't make no sense. And when Dr. Mitchell spoke and he said, in order for that to happen in the manner you wanted it to happen, we must speak pension reform. And so in the very first sitting, ladies and gentlemen, we heard those words uttered. We heard those words regurgitated by Senator Claudette Joseph. Right? Here in review and we're going on. You understand me? Failed to take any measures to cushion the effect of inflation. Remember, these people, as long as things continue to increase, they did nothing to cushion the effect. And we're still facing it today. Instead, what they did, they gave amnesty to the bigger friends with the bigger businesses. And now what we're seeing, and I said this today, now the amnesty has ended. And we are going to get the true effect when we go to the grocery nowadays. Because remember, they were being baby fed. They didn't have to pay no taxation. So sometimes when we go to the shelf, we saw what we consider to be reasonable prices. But now, we are going to get the full effect. You understand me? Another blocked motion in Parliament that would have benefited farmers. Remember when Brother Nilon, Senator Nilon, spoke in the House of Senate, and he spoke about something that would have benefited farmers, how much he was shot down by members on the other side of the table. We're speaking also about the added 525 persons who is in the existing pension payroll of 2,200 persons that the NNP was paying. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the facts are there. You understand me? Remember, one of the achievements, they bought a whole MP after the election. A whole MP after the election was bought. Thanks to Mr. Lee. Whoever Mr. Lee is, your money's worth. Remember, they embraced and endorsed hate speeches. Persons were happy on different programs. Basically, Mayday. You hear the leader of the GUT basically saying to the Minister of Education that there is too many persons that support the new national party within the Ministry of Education. And he basically was advocating that they make them go, they fire them, whatever means. Because he wanted to see much more happening in the Ministry of Education. And so he asked the minister at the time at the pocket meeting, aka Mayday, that there is so much NNP within that emblem. And they would have asked them to, let me see if we could get rid of them. Another achievement for them. They took pictures while Camper Nicholas cleaned and chained Lagoon Road, belly and guts. Simple thing like that. They knew to themselves the responsibility that was happening there had nothing to do with government. And so he went along and speak belly and guts. Great achievement for them. He was on a program this morning, ladies and gentlemen. Question posed, what is your intention for the south of the island? I was surprised he didn't say he's going to work, boss. I was surprised he didn't mention that, because absolutely nothing of substance. Nothing of substance was mentioned when asked. All you hear about, we clean day and we fix day and we clean day and we plan day. Pumpkin season in full bloom at Wall Street. Pumpkin on the ground, not boots. Pumpkin on the ground. I have to tell my father come down with his lawnmower to see if he could give them a little walkout. Took pictures, we mentioned that. Planted loads of flowers and removed derelict vehicles. Now this is something that the past commissioner of police would have addressed while he was there. I remember Commissioner Martin always mentioning about derelict vehicles parking in areas and persons complaining. And so Minister of Decoration would have come around and he started to clean. And he has that as an achievement in 1 year. So we should be praising Grenada Solid Waste. We should be praising Grenada Solid Waste every time we see them, because that's a great achievement. To clean is a great achievement for a government of state. They paid teachers for work not done and refused to pay sanitizers, CJs, and other workers for work completed. Don't forget that. Persons were doing their work at the different schools. Teachers was out protesting unlawfully. And so instead of paying those persons who got their work done, instead you pay the people who got nothing done. Achievement, accomplishment, teachers. Nice accomplishment for your government, right? Year in review, we continue. Deporting the Haitians after suggesting to the United Nations that we must do more for them. Hypocrisy at its best. Remember, he stood in one of his very first conversations to address different leaders of the nations. And so he mentioned how much he believed the United Nations should pay particular attention to Haitians. And the very first chance he got with Haitians at our shows, he said to them, you can't come and take money from the people's purse. He said that in a nutshell. This is what he mentioned. He promised the legalization of marijuana and now announcing only for medical purpose. Before the election and persuaded in the Senate during the budget presentation on agriculture. Remember when he mentioned the legalization of marijuana would be a conversation or the decriminalization, more or less, of marijuana. And so now he's saying to the people whom he grasped during the campaign, he said to them, we're going to legalize the thing, man. The thing will come. You understand me? We waiting, we go give you. And then now he comes in a different breath and says to the Grenadian people, no, we were saying that it would be used for medical purpose. When we heard it being mentioned when the budget was read by the Minister of Agriculture. While advocating for youth involvement and receiving 1,500 applications for boards, executive members of the party, their family and friends on multiple boards. Remember when I told you guys, when you look at the manifesto of the administration in power, they mentioned on a particular page that they would have had young people involved in the Senate and on different boards and so on. Now, many persons, young persons, would have applied for those positions because that was the intention of the party during the campaign. And so young people was intrigued that, hey, we are going to finally get a chance to be a part of different boards and so on. What have we seen? What have we seen? What is the youngest person you see on a board as a board member? We're seeing persons who are basically candidates on 2 and 3 boards. Persons who are on the party members on 2 and 3 and 4 boards. They like nail all the way you turn. They're on a board. All the way you turn. They're on a different board. Like woodans. Young people applying to fill those positions, and they have not been given those positions. And when we look at different boards, we've seen faces of past persons who supported the party, past candidates, present candidates, persons affiliated with. We look at the ambassadorial capacity. And when we're thinking that young people would have gotten the opportunity, nothing. Failed to properly constitute the Public Accounts Committee of the Parliament. Remember, I'm seeing recently that they're asking for something to be drawn back because they want to do what they want so much and leave out persons who are in opposition, forgetting of what makes up the Parliament. You may make up the majority, but the Parliament is a full entity of persons. And so the King's opposition is part of that emblem that creates the House of Parliament. So you see, they want to do what they want, when they want, forgetting the proper procedures as it relates to certain things of state. We saw they failed to engage teachers and unions in the up and out policy for secondary schools Because that is what it is. That is what it is. Up, up, and out. There was nothing with the intention, and if you listen to it, it is no intention of betterment. How can you tell me a child fails? A child is doing poorly. You give a child a whole year, and they're doing exams and they continue to fail. First term, second term. And they sit the CPEA, and then they goes on to a secondary school. How are you saying that to me, that this is not an up, up, and out policy? This is what it is. And my final point, and I know that there's more, because I'm saying to you guys, I would be able to take 1 or 2 little voice notes today. You have to be careful on the voice note that you send, however. Point number 52, last but not least, failing to engage in market vendors and when they were moving from the National Stadium car park, failing to engage the persons, hiding from them. Basically, that's what you were doing. You were hiding from them because you know there were persons that are going to ask you biting questions. And so you failed to engage them. You failed to engage them, ladies and gentlemen. So how can you say to the Grenadian people now, in all honesty, that you would have had this immaculate year in which you went around last week and beat your chest about? Now there's many other points. Many other points, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sure there are many other persons that may have other points and other things to mention as it relates to that. The fact of the matter is, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't end here. Right? Somebody is making a point. They say, what about the people who are still standing in the hot sun waiting to receive seed money? They said it was distasteful to see our people standing in the long lines in the hot sun. And this is degrading our people. But they did not put measures in place to solve that matter. Like they forget this is a promise too. I mentioned the seed program, but I didn't mention that. And I said, I know there are persons with other points. So if you don't want to send your voice note, make a comment. I'll read it out in things that I forgot. Because we're reviewing with them. We're reviewing the year in review. We're doing it together with the National Democratic Congress. We want to ensure that you get everything right. Come on, tell me. What is it that you could have remembered? It is the very first Prime Minister that came down from the saluting desk at the day of our independence after not being given a fanfare and a salute to the nation. You understand me? At the end of the day, we need to be very much careful as it relates to that. We can't just be running around and believing. We know there might be things that you would have achieved. There might be 1 or 2. Because you all did a great job in buying the MP. Wonderful job in the cleaning and beautification. Wonderful job in the WASH program. WASH. Who again we sending home. That's what the WASH program meant. Wonderful job. So we're asking you, what else? What else, ladies and gentlemen, can you remember for that year in review? And you heard the Prime Minister said it. He didn't say he's going to build 500 houses. I know the brother, when I sent it to him, I tried calling him twice after that. I tried calling him on 2 occasions after I sent him the clip. He refused to answer me, and then he sent the lol. You see many persons mentioning how disgruntled they are for that 1 year. Lakwa Brothers and Funeral Agency, Otway Bailey Home, are some of the places, when you go to some of the places, you think they're in charge. The place dead. Go to certain places and you believe Otto in charge. Think Lacqua in charge. Place dead. You always feel you're in the cemetery in certain places in Grenada right now. Mentioning this government said that they're going to increase the seed money, but instead they take out of the seed money. I had that clip, you know. I had that clip, but I don't know. I like the point that you're bringing there. Because they mentioned as it relates, and you see that telling you. You see, let me tell you something about the legal fraternity, and I'm going to say that again. People, when you have the experience in legal fraternity, you can, watch me, immaculately twist things around. You would be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, how immaculately you could twist things around. Because you heard him, how he tried to turn it around. He didn't say the government will. He didn't say the government will. But remember in the presentation he said, when we're in office. No, so verbatimly, he didn't say the government will. But he said, when we get in office. No, when you get in office, what do you form? No, you were not saying, you didn't say that the government will. No, you didn't say that. And a proper person doing the interview and having that clip would say that. At the end of the day, we know you didn't say that. You said when your party forms or gets into office. So when you get into office, what does that mean? Brother, you form the government. At the end of the day, this is what we want you to accept. We want you to accept that. And when you accept that, then we understand that your prime minister role is starting to make you feel as if you understand what democracy is. Transformation is what your word is. And if you understand the meaning of the word transformation, transformation means to move something from one's position to the other. It is a move for betterment. But what we have heard in the past year is a complaining of the past administration. Comparing yourself when you fail to the past administration. So why get rid of something when you continue to compare yourself as is? Right? I'm with my new girlfriend and her ex used to beat her. Now every time I beat her I say, but ain't your ex used to beat you? Why did she leave her ex in the first place? Because I'm still comparing myself with him, treating her the same way he treated her. But we are too blinded, some of us. We are too blinded in understanding what democracy is. And that we need to hold politicians, be it NNP, NDC, GULP, whomever it is, responsible for words uttered and promises made to our Grenadian people. We heard of increasing the seed program. We had a reduction of that and removal of persons. We heard of recertifications and persons being able to be eligible. Now we have an individual who's basically blind, who's complaining on different media houses that he was removed. So what is the qualification in order to be part of the seed program? This is the question. So if you're saying that you're recertifying, fine. If you're saying that there is things that you need to look through, fine. When you speak qualifications, this is what we want you to speak on. What makes you qualify? Who qualifies? You understand me? So this is what we're saying. It makes no sense that you're doing things of the past and trying to compare yourself of the past. Why are you doing it? It makes no sense. Because you can't come and tell me, okay, the government promised something, and I see somebody mention it. The government promises to do that. 500 houses. But when you ask somebody, well, where is the 500 houses that the government would have asked or promised to the Grenadian people? Then they turn and they ask you, where is the shrimp farm that Clarice promised people in Victoria? What is the purpose? What is the answer there? What is the answer? So you're basically saying two wrongs make a right. So your party promised, NMP promised, and now you're transforming on what basis? On what basis are you transforming? Because we're speaking as it relates to promises made and promises not fulfilled. And your agenda is to transform. The past administration failed in that regard, but you're comparing yourself with the past administration failure as it relates to bring a point and cushion why you did what you're doing. So you're saying to me, the government didn't build 500 houses as promised because the shrimp farm and the fall farm and the fish farm did not come about by the past administration. Is that a comparison? Is that a justification, a reasonable justification to answer somebody? There are persons at the general hospital that is sick. And you're speaking as it relates to health. And then you say to somebody, the health condition is bad. And then they come and say to you, well, the NMP administration did not pay an invoice. There is an outstanding invoice. And so, after a year, you're telling me that when your agenda is transformation. So what are you on? You're making comparison with a failed administration, an administration you defeated. But however, you are comparing your state at present to their failures. So how are we moving forward? Because my grandmother is at the hospital, and as an NDC supporter, I am saying to you, listen to me. I went to the hospital the other day, and such is the case. And then you turn to me and you say, but Kid Mitchell and them didn't pay that bill. What is the transformation there? What is the solution? Are we seeking to find a way to fix the problem? Or are we going to compare that there were problems before, so why are we studying the problems now? This is not a justification. You don't justify things in that manner. At the end of the day, this is not the purpose. This is not the purpose. At the end of the day, there are things that could happen, and when it happens, I give kudos on it. But don't come and compare me with the past, a failed administration, as your party is making it to believe, and then I would find that justifiable as an excuse. You understand me? Dr. Mitchell is out of the picture. The new National Party is out of the picture. Based on on the supporters' idea, 30 years of governance is what we await. But in year number one, in my own little space, in my very own little space, there is 54 issues that I could have addressed in the first year. Lies, deception, unfailed promises or failed promises, not unfailed, sorry, failed promises, and the list goes on. At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, we need to understand this. If we continue to speak of a transformational agenda, the Grenadian people want to see things moving. That is what we want to see. Things moving forward. The word transformation is self-explanatory. It is self-explanatory. And so we're not going to make it seem as if we don't understand the meaning of the word. You can't be stagnant in things you want to change. What about things that you want to bring forward to the Grenadian people? Projects that you ended. On what basis did you? When will we start them over? Were they that bad? If you wanted to change contractors by now, you could have. So we're saying, ladies and gentlemen, all those things. Somebody's mentioned about the debushing program. Now, when they spoke of the debushing program, they spoke as it relates to making transformations to it. What has been the transformation to the debushing program? Asking people to come and do it free? Clean up campaign all over the place and people can go get a little money in their pocket? Planting and clearing all about? And voluntary services? At the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, and I saw a comment there, and I'm glad. Somebody said, if you were a true Grenadian, you would admit that the NDC is a failure. Somebody said that I am on here, and if I was a true Grenadian, I would have been paid for it. The Prime Minister is a true Grenadian, voted as the Prime Minister. Well, ask him not to take salary. If the Prime Minister is so loving his country, then ask him not to take salary. His service to state should be one where he shouldn't take any money. Because if I'm doing a program and being paid for it, there are other persons throughout the length and breadth of the world that once they're blogging or doing works of that kind, then one of the means and ways to do it is to be able to get some form of capital. But the Prime Minister, who is the head of state, you understand, then he should be a true Grenadian and not collect a salary. Because what I'm doing here is basically for a portion of people. These are for persons who want to hear me. The Prime Minister is there serving everyone. So then ask him not to take salary. It is funny how some people come up with their own idea. Right? So people, listen to me. We are what? 2 days away? And I believe, I don't know, you all want me to mark the report book today? Like, you want me to mark the report, you want me to give the percentage today? Or you all, I feel like I'm going to give the percentage tomorrow. Right? Because I would have given my report and so on. I would have told you all things that, and I think I left out things. I think we left out a lot of things. When I sat and I started thinking, I tell you, I got to 54. I got to 54. And I want to believe that there is more. That there is more. Today I came blazing. I'm telling you guys, I came straight off the bat today because I decided I'm going to speak. Right? I'm going to speak. You see, let me tell you something. Huh? And I'm hearing persons mentioning things like, when we're doing blogs and so on, that you can't speak properly and persons are not putting the sentences together and so on and so forth. Let me tell you something. Communication is simple. Sender to receiver, feedback. That is communication. Simple like that. When I say what I say here, persons comment. Persons comment and they mention things. They follow my page. Then they see me on the street or they message me and they say, such and such is the case. Job done. This is communication. I don't have to come here and talk nice and try to put sentences together and be all acute about what I'm saying. No. I am speaking to a whole cross-section of people. I'm not here believing that everybody that is on my page or is listening to me understand when I use a particular word. And so what I try to do basically is sometimes speak in layman terminology you don't understand. If I say Bambai Hotel, an individual may understand. Then I'm saying, I'm speaking futuristically. Somebody may not understand that word. Somebody may understand Bambai Hotel. It's basically the same thing. But you see, sometimes you need to come down to your audience and understand that you're speaking to a wide cross-section of people. And you see nowadays what is going to happen, the different surrogates are going to come together and try to go on the programs, listen to my program, Shall Learn program, and go to words and things that you said and spelling. Sometimes I saw one where they post a comment, they put up a whole thing on an individual and he's misspelled words. I've seen many nice talking people not get it done. Nice talking people, bright people. I have seen many of them not get it done. I have seen the cleaner taught the boss something new. I have seen the janitor taught the teacher something new. So that is life. Life is a circle of learning. And the ability to communicate doesn't mean that you have to be intelligent. I have to be able to ensure that when I give you what I give you, the information that I give you, you understand it. All right? So we come to another wonderful evening. We come to the end of a wonderful evening. It was one that is again fiery, right? And we again continue tomorrow. And when we speak tomorrow, we would have another topic. You see, the thing about it, tomorrow is the eve. And I must say the Prime Minister will be addressing the nation tonight. And let me implore on to you guys. Now, I mentioned it yesterday, but it was not on the topic of politics. Now, tolerance is something that you need to grow with. Tolerance and respect at this stage as a supporter of the new National Party. Right? Now, the fact of the matter is, when the Prime Minister is addressing the nation, we ought to be respectful of his office. I don't expect you all to go under the live tonight or his address and be derogative in any kind of way. If you don't want to hear him, don't listen to it. Simple like that. If you're going on there and you see comments that may make you want to, be tolerable enough to not address it. You're going to hear things. You're going to see things tonight. You're going to hear things that make you wow tonight. Right? At the end of the day, you allow the Prime Minister of the land to address the nation. And this is all he's doing. He's addressing the nation tonight. So if you're going under the live, we're asking persons to please be respectful. Please be respectful. Respect his office. Don't be obscene. Don't say anything that would start any conflict with anybody. Don't go under anybody's live and try to have a conversation. You get nowhere with it. We need to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the office is what we respect. And he holds the office, and we need to respect that. All right? So again, it was a pleasure being here. And to disseminate the information to you is always a pleasure. Right? My students have given me the promotion of principal. Right? I don't know when I get it, but I'll accept it. All right. So we will be back on here again tomorrow. Don't forget, in the morning, you can enjoy our dear brother, Mosquito Man. By midday, you can enjoy the wonderful program that takes place on Real FM. Then by 5 in the evening, you have Sister Jenny Repay. Then at 6, you have me and the program here again. And then at 8 tomorrow night, you have Talking Point. So fix yourself tomorrow for a day of conversation, because we will be coming fiery tomorrow, the eve of 1 year tragedy, when we make that dreadful mistake in Grenada. All right? So be on tomorrow, put on a listening ear, and we would again recap some of the conversations that would have had us for the past year or so. All right? So have yourself a wonderful evening. Don't forget, just a reminder that you can go onto my YouTube page. Subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe. There are days I might just go, I might say, listen to me, I don't do no Facebook live today. I'm going straight on my YouTube page and do my live. You have to be prepared for that. All right? Because we do have issues from time to time with the Facebook page. And so I am asking persons to go onto my YouTube page so you would be able to view. You wouldn't miss anything. Right? There are times we have issues with Facebook, and having the two pages that I do have some time to go around between them is a little bit difficult sometimes. But however, there is a YouTube page. Go out there and subscribe onto that page. So don't forget, we would have our conversations. All right, Kevin Mitchell, whenever you're ready. Whenever you're ready. All right, so whenever you're ready to share the story with me, message me, call me. Don't be afraid. All right, so have yourself a wonderful evening. We would have had a wonderful evening. God blessings to each and every one of you. I want to say good afternoon to every single MP of the New National Party. Have yourself a great evening. And tomorrow, I believe, you know what I believe? Tomorrow I'll give away me prefect badges. Some prefects. I want to give away some prefect badges tomorrow. So be prepared for some prefect badges to be shared tomorrow. All right. So again, it was a pleasure. I want you to have a good evening. Don't forget, we have a tropical depression that is out, so we have to be extra careful. Don't forget, COVID-19 is also around us, and we want to be careful and be safe. All right. So thank you, and have yourself a wonderful evening. All right.
Well, I come back to burn them up because I am the fire chief. I come to burn out corruption, watch you are burning out wickedness. I see them just like a big wrong target, something I could never miss. This say with me new brand and so go educate the public, the fight against red hot again. I keep them red hot. Problem, the fight against red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. When it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls, I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet your life it is. I would have ignited, watch out, we get red hot again. I keep in the red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. Well, I am a talented singer with a unique style of my own. Not no one to be entertainer who posing around with phone. There's something about my music what does keep the people interest. You know what they call it, food for thought, so take it in and digest. Some people they think they cheat, they connive and yet still play, they honest. Don't have no feeling for the truth, that is why they cannot keep a promise. Whether Anglican, whether 7 days, even Methodist, all of them fall short of the glory, that is why they can't get no spiritual peace. The fire get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. When it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls, I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet you life it is. I would have ignited, watch out, we get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. Because I love up my culture, I put in my best foot forward. But I find the people in authority really acting absurd. For me, it's too much of ignorance and controlling society. And if I know that I don't sing it, then all you going to vex with me. Well, I don't think it's fair to say that I have no competition. But my people, you're going to see for yourself who is the number one. The only way they could beat me, they think have to be programmed. Otherwise, there is just no way to stop my revolution. The fire get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, watch out, we get red hot. Coming back to burn them. The fire get red hot again. When it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls, I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet you life it is. I would have ignited, watch out, we get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. The fire that I am burning is strictly to educate. With nasty thing I don't play at all, that I illiquidate. I know my journey will hard, so I have to concentrate. Although my road is a rocky one, but to me they cannot dictate. By not giving me a title, they think I'm going to frustrate. They tell me that I must pay me due. Tell them learn to articulate. Tell them singers and them for me, they must get their mind in shape. Because the kind of lyrics I use, they cannot facilitate. That's why they get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. When it's time to burn the fire, Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet you life it is. I will ignite it, so now we get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. It was never my intention to become notorious, but a lot of people just not aware, so they are not conscious. Not because I'm an entertainer, that simply means I'm famous. The only reason I end up on top is because I'm garrulous. The first time I burned the fire, everybody felt was a joke. Burn fire, burn, and also went up in smoke. More fire, you don't see what happened to coals. So they know I'm a serious man and me that they mustn't provoke. The fire get red hot again. I'm keeping them red hot. Problem, the fire get red hot. Coming back to burn them. Watch out, we get red hot again. When it's time to burn the fire, they tell me, come on, burn the fire quick. Because they know that I'm a serious man, I doesn't mix up in no gimmick. Yes, I am rough like a lion, but to the girls I'm very romantic. When it's time to light the fire, bet you life it is. I will not ignite it, but